You know, sex and money actually go hand in hand. We talk about sex, we talk about money. As I talked about on other videos, you're talking about an exchange that is taking place between two people, or actually one person or more, when you deal with any form of economics. And just like with sex, the more energy you have, the more sex you'll be able to have. The more energy you have, the more money, the more potential money you could actually have. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of athletes, the reason why they're rich is not just because they're great athletes and strong athletes, is because they have a lot of energy. And believe it or not, they're great business people. See, most athletes vibrate up under the number 5. When you deal with the number 5, you're dealing with energy. And the number 5, you're dealing with activity, though, actually. So it's not just energy, but active energy. So most athletes, when you master the number 5, you're going to eventually get into currency and economics, when you get into the deeper levels of mastering the number 5. And the reason why a lot of athletes have this energy is because they vibrate up under the number 5. But let's go deeper into this. Now, sex is very important when it comes to money, because your sexuality is actually going to determine what type of economic lifestyle you should be living. What do I mean by that? So say, for instance, you're a person that is grounded for the most part, and your sexual energy, though you may have it, is controlled, and you don't lust for the most part. You have a control when it comes to sex. You have a pretty control over your sexual energy. You know, I mean, you may be attracted to the opposite sex, but you're not like overly sexual, I guess is what I'm saying, or overly emotional, because sex is actually emotions. So a person like that, what's going to happen with you is that you're going to be more comfortable with a grounded lifestyle. You're not going to be worried about getting rich, though you may be rich just because of your lifestyle, but your focus won't be, okay, I want to get rich. Your focus may just be, I want to be grounded. I want to be, I want a nice, stable home, and I want to be able to go to the backyard and grow my food. I don't want to go to the store, that type of stuff. So your focus is not rich, it's not wealth, money, or fiat notes. So your vantage point when you go into the economic field or the market is going to be from your perspective, from your sexual energy. So you can learn about the type of economic lifestyle you want to live and things like that based upon your own sexual energy. So say, for instance, okay, so then you got a person that's very sexual. They may like watching pornography. They're into sexual arts is what it is. They may like watching pornography and things of that nature, and just into the darker aspect, what some people may call the sexual world. But then at the same time, they may have their ambition to want to be rich, what's called rich. See, a lot of children, believe it or not, and this is why the sick rulers of this world use children in sexual rituals, believe it or not. Because a lot of children, when they first born into this world, they know that they want to become rich when they're first born into this world. They know that something about being rich. You hear kids and you're like, do you want to be rich? Yeah, I want to be rich when I grow up. Like most children, that's one of the first things they hear about and know about. They want to be rich. They want to have everything. They want to have whatever it is, like whether it's money, rupees, or whatever the economic pesos, whatever the currency is of their day, they want to have a lot of it. Or they may not look at it as money. They may just look at it as material things, but the bottom line is they want to be well off. This is actually a childhood. This is more of a childhood spirit, believe it or not. When you feel this way, this is coming from the state of how it says in the Bible, you must enter the kingdom, and kings are rich and queens are rich, from the state of a child. This is how you must enter the kingdom of the Most High, what you would call God. And this is important when you deal with economics, is what I'm going to get into in a minute, because this goes into why we're losing, actually. See, we're losing in the realm of economics and where we're supposed to be at when it comes to gaining an unlimited progress, because we've lost our connection to the childhood aspect, like your heart, the childhood aspect and the purity, the pureness of your heart. You've lost that, or traded that for mediocre shit, really. Fast cars, stuff that's depreciating. This is not money. It's okay. I'm not saying don't have it. It's definitely, it can be an asset. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, but are you managing it as that? Is your car making you money, or are you losing money in your car? That's basically what I'm getting at. So the concept of economics, even when you get into sovereignty, though, because you may say, but you're a sovereign, so what does this have to do with sovereignty? And how can you use sexuality and sovereignty? And I've talked about this in other videos. You're, as a sovereign, once you accept everything for value and take back your straw man and your commodities and things of that nature, your body is now a commodity. So everything that your body produces is now tradable. And you have to have the intel to know how to trade on it, trade on the market, and get money off of it, first and foremost. So you should, as a sovereign, you're never really broke when it comes to credit if you are managing your credit correctly. And it doesn't matter if you only got $5 in credit or $1 in credit. It don't matter, because you can use this trade off of it and go bigger and bigger. But your sexuality and sex, which is actually ruled by the number 6, is going to come into play when it comes to accepting things for value. Oh yeah. See, this is where I'm going to get into the last half of this video, which won't take too long. But your sexuality was given to you, believe it or not, as a part of an experiment. And I've talked about this in other videos. You'd have to study the Anunnaki and the Gilgamesh epics and other texts. And they talk about how, this is important, I'm not getting off point, this is important in economics. And they talk about how you were created in some form of an experiment. Your flesh was created in some form of an experiment, and the records for that experiment, believe it or not, the US government still has it. So when you start talking about UCCs and stuff like that, you may say it's called Uniform Commercial Codes, but in reality, it's called unisex commercial codes, because everybody here was created from a unisex being. That's right, and it's an experiment. The government has the body and the flesh and everything on file, and they know what I'm talking about. The FBI and the CIA have this stuff on file, and they know what I'm talking about. And you were created from an experiment, believe it or not, from a unisex being, and you owe a contract. That's right. In order to excel in economics, you have to participate in a contract. And they don't teach you about this. Even the rich billionaires don't know about this. So this is why the Illuminati sacrifices people, of which the Illuminati is weak, because it's higher orders than that. The Illuminati has to answer to the Baphomet, but that's another story. But this is why the Illuminati sacrifices people, because of the X aspect. Because of the fact that you were created from an X factor. Like when they talk about X-Men, yes, that's right, you were created from an extraterrestrial being, a unisex being. Everybody in the United States of America, that's why it's called the United States with a U. Because you were created from a unisex being. And I'm going to shut down after this. And then the only way you're going to become rich is, first, you're going to have to master your sexuality. Master it. Because that's the #1 commodity that they're getting us with. Fuck how you look and all of this other stuff and trying to find the cutest person and all of this, whatever. People calling you ugly, whatever. Get over all of that. Master your sexuality. Become a sexual guru. Master Kama Sutra. I was just looking at that. I want to make sure I pronounce that correctly. Master that, which is a practice that deals with your emotions and channeling your kundalini and sex and things of that nature. Because when you master that, what's going to happen is that your vision is going to become a lot clearer. Believe it or not. You may think like, well, what do you mean by vision? Your literal vision, your third eye is going to become open. You're going to be able to envision everything that you need to get to the next level. And the only thing that you're going to have to do at that point is just make the moves to get there. It's just like chess. If you know how, and then, well, I'll stop. I don't want to go too fast, but it's just like chess. If you know the strategy that you're going to use to put the person in check, the only thing you got to do, you got it mapped in your head, is just play the game out through your memory. You have to have a good memory. So this is where the X aspect comes into, and I have to do a part 2 at some time when I upload it, going into part 2. But this is why taxes, you see the term tax, you see the X again. Because in the term taxes, you see an X dealing with the fact that there's a contract again, dealing with your sexuality. Until you master that, you're never going to excel in the economy, because they can just put a tax on you and take all your money. You're like, I'm a millionaire, they ain't going to get me. Shit, yes they can. They can just put a millionaire tax on you. And if you don't know how to use your sexuality on different levels too, different levels, you're not going to get out of that thing there. So sexual rituals and getting money and all of that is important, and tapping into that. And children that are virgins, they're virgins. See, they know this. This is why they have the ambition. Most children want to get rich, because it's that purity of heart. That virgin spirit, their vision is clear, and they're able to map out strategies. This is more, a lot of children are rich right now, believe it or not, and they're protected by private companies, and they're hiring actors to act like children. These children are already running the shit. They never even had sex. Somebody in different countries, not in the United States. They're letting them run companies and shit. See, the thing is that the United States and a lot of other countries over here in the West are lacking in leadership. And I'm not knocking our president. I'm saying, like, when it comes to competition in the community sector, there's no leadership here because there's too many people worried about the wrong shit. You're not getting no money off your sexuality. You're too busy worrying about this and that, instead of learning how you can get some money off of who you are on the level that you at, until you can get to the next level. So I'll do a part 2 on this, mastering your sexuality. I thank you guys for listening and for the help. I'm back up for now. Until we meet again, as always, stay vigilant.